Please, at this point in time, I ask everyone to be upstanding as we welcome onto the floor again for the second time tonight, the one and only Paris Marie, everybody.
Hello and welcome to Dandenong for your election night NBL1 game of the week between the third place Nunawading Spectres and the seventh place Dandenong Rangers. Liam Santamaria here with you alongside Australian basketball legend Mark Worthington and Dandenong basketball aficionado head coach of the Rangers Youth League Women, Michael Brookins.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael.
That's all right.
As we get set for this top 8 clash, we saw a big win from the Rangers in the women's, led by Bet Cole and her 40 points. And Nunawading looking to square the ledger here in the men's. As they come in to enemy territory to take on a Dandenong team full of up-and-coming talent.
Yeah, you got to really appreciate what Dandenong has, and not only that, but I'm looking forward to looking at Dexter Kearney-Drew, and he's out of contract at the moment, and potentially someone that could pop up on an NBL roster, and hopefully he does again. But the other one, obviously, with my bias eye, is Kelly LaPepe, who has signed on to go to Loyola Marymount University, the college that I coached at a year ago, and looking forward to seeing what the young fellas have got in store.
The Spectres coming in with a 5-3 record, coming off a 25-point win over the Southern Sabres last week. The Rangers coming off a 1-1 trip to Tassie. They went down to Hobart by 9, Michael, but they backed that up with a 33-point smashing of Northwest Tasmania.
Look, that was probably the first game that they really found their feet. They haven't had the full roster up till they made that trip up there. So the first one were growing pains. Looks like they got it all put together in the second game. This will be their third game of having his full lineup, his full set of guns. We'll see how they come out blazing.
You talk about NBL free agents, were they? The other one that's interesting in this game is Lucas Walker, likely coming off the bench for the Spectres, as he's been doing behind Dane Switala. He's played 2 games for Nunawading. He's been doing good work in the 3x3, but at the moment, without an NBL contract, and he says coming in to play for the Spectres in the NBL1, just looking to fit in, do his thing. He says everyone around the NBL knows what I can bring.
Well, you're the Woj of the NBL, mate. What have you heard on both Lucas and Dexter, if there's any news at the moment?
Yeah, not a lot, to be honest. And it's interesting that those two guys both with the Taipans last year, the club that has not been doing a lot into the NBL free agency thus far. It was a good signing, Majuk Dang. They signed up Tom Jervis. I'm told they missed out on Sam Froling. They really wanted him. They were leading that race early days, but Illawarra swooped in. They missed out on Daniel Dillon. I'm told they've got their sights set on Venky Joyce, but haven't heard much about Lucas Walker and Dexter Koenig-Drew.
Well, Venky Joyce is the interesting one for me, and someone who came in late for Melbourne United and didn't really get the opportunity probably that he thought he might get sitting behind David Barlow. But for someone like Lucas Walker, obviously he's a veteran of the league now and been around for a long time, and the people do know what he does. He was the captain of the Cairns Taipans last year as well, and to see him leave that situation, obviously, you know, there's not many spots left around the league. The Taipans is the only team that has a lot of spots left, but I'd hope Dexter gets another opportunity in Cairns because he was riddled with injuries this year and never really got into a groove, but someone in the preseason who I think everyone earmarked as someone to have a breakout season. His ability to shoot the ball is paramount, and someone that can just stretch the floor in zone offenses, and I hope he puts on a show tonight, and similar to what Beck Cole did in the women's game.
Well, that would be something. He's coming in with a bit of form. Had 2 double-figure scoring games down in Tasmania, shot 7 from 18 from three-point territory across that weekend, but just averaging 11 points per game on 33% shooting from the field.
And we talked about the youth of Dandenong. Nunawading's had these older heads for a long period of time, and Simon Conn wanted to mention that he's still a sneaky athlete in which he jumps off the floor every now and then. But he's been around for a long time. Shane McDonald, obviously an ex-NBL point guard who's really, really good at this level. Has been a great player. Tom Wright.
Leading the NBL1 in assists.
Tom Wright, who has been a big part of the 3-on-3, and I think he's the second-ranked player in Australia at the moment. So there's a lot of older heads to go with Lucas Walker to, try and push these younger kids around.
Historically, Dandenong's had issues with Simon Conn. His mid-range game from the elbows really put him out. So it'll be interesting to see if we can handle him tonight.
Dandenong starting with Lucas Barker, their team-leading scorer, playing really, really well. Dexter Koenig-Drew, Kelly LePepe, we'll talk more about him as we go. Sam Froling and Tim Lang in the middle, and the Spectres with a big starting lineup. Costas Phrenopoulos going to come off the bench. You got McDonald, Wright, Walker, Swatala, and Con, and we are underway. 3rd versus 7th, a Southeast Melbourne showdown on election night. As the votes are counted around the country, Swatala lines one up from deep and bang, he opens scoring from long range. Shooting 46% from 3, Dane Swatala, averaging 18 and 11. Has started the NBL1 season in scintillating form.
I know Dane Swatala from his Rangers days, and one thing he was known for is putting in work. He works extremely hard on his body, works extremely hard on his game. So it's not a surprise that he's shooting well.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he needs to lift anymore. It looks like he's won that battle.
Well, Froling comes right back and scores on Swatala down low. So it's 3-2 in the early going. He can handle it too, Swatala. I like him. And here he is from long range again. Whack! 2 from 2 from long range for Swatala in the opening minute.
He does show up for big games. He loves the lights.
Swatala 6, Dandenong 2. As Koenig-Drew rises up and knocks that down, opens his tally.
And he's got that advantage as a taller guard who should be able to shoot over someone like Tom Wright with a bit of ease. You don't necessarily have the hand, as Wright says. You can shoot 2s down this end, that end. Well, I'll shoot 3s down this end.
Well, the Spectres are en fuego to open this one. 3 from 3 from long range on their first 3 possessions. And they're up 9-4. Here's Froling, faces up, squares up, can't hit. And Lucas Walker attacks in transition. Walker and LePepe. It's going to be fun to watch.
Both real physical players.
And there's McDonald cutting backdoor and kissing it off the glass. 11-4 Spectres. Oh, inside out from Barker. That was a nice move. And right back at him, Swatala. Oh, wow. Jeez.
Someone forgot to tell him that he is hit 2 already. Don't want to pass that up.
Don't pass that up. toe the line and let it fly. Geez, we were right there. I didn't think he was out of bounds, but there you go. Barker, as I mentioned, Dandenong's leading scorer, averaging 16 points and 5 assists, shooting 43% from long range.
He had a good run in the 3-on-3 also.
Coming off 20 points versus Northwest Tassie, where he's 5 of 7 from deep. Barker, as Walker throws that one into the Nunawading bench. Pepe, as Wertho said, off to LMU very soon. Koenig Drew, they find Froling, LePepe underneath, 5 on the clock, and Con worries him out of it. Tim Lang chases it down, they get another possession. Barker lets it fly, can't hit it, and Con clears it for the Spectres. They move it around the horn. Comes back to McDonald. And what's the call? Foul on Koenig Drew off the ball.
Dandenong looking like they're going into a zone early, which is risky after a team's hit 3 threes straight away. But obviously one of their dead ball situations where any time it goes into a side ball, they go into their zone.
I don't mind it against the Spectres, to be honest. That was a good pass from McDonald. That combination, McDonald and Con have been getting it done for a long time for the Spectres, but they're a pick and roll team. Nunawading are a pick and roll team. Wright and McDonald working off Con in particular, and then they space the floor from there. So you sit in the zone and challenge them to execute against it early in the game, see if they can do it. I don't mind it.
Well, Darren's known for changing up defenses quite a bit throughout a game to keep offenses on their toes. So you'll see him run through a couple of different extended zones from the 1-3-1 to the 2-3.
The one thing about DP is, you know, after timeouts, he really likes to change up his defense. And you'll see a coach call a timeout to try and run a play to get a certain player or the team a shot, and the ability to change up your defense then just to mess up a team's plans is almost like a wasted timeout.
Here's Lang, squares up. Probably not the shot the Rangers were looking for, I wouldn't have thought. Here's Swatala, finds Walker, and that one's off a Dandenong hand for mine. Now off Lang, and we'll go back to the Spectres.
Lang's sneaky like that. He can knock down the 3. Does a good job of extending the defense.
He's hitting 1 triple a game at 34%. So nothing to sneeze at there from the big fella. There's McDonald, finds Swatala. He's had good rhythm and he knocks another one down. That's his 3rd triple in the opening 4 minutes, Dane Swatala.
Well, that's just poor knowing the scout and rotating off a guy that's already hit 2 threes, and that one didn't look like missing. You got to fake out at the penetrator and stick with the corner, because corner 3s will kill you in this game.
They've got another shot clock here. Barker attacks aggressively, draws a foul on Tom Wright. Lucas Barker will head to the stripe, shooting 80% on the season. As I said, Barker leading the Rangers in scoring, but also assists and steals, and having a heck of a season. Really has been their main man. And on a team with Koenig Drew, Kenyon, Froling, a bunch of kind of NBL level guys, it's been a really impressive. He's been really impressive, Barker.
He's been with Darren for about 10 years now, since he was a junior, so he really knows he knows what Darren wants on the floor. And he does a really good job of taking care of the ball and leading the team.
He's pretty much the new Shane McDonald, because Shane's been doing the exact same thing for the Spectres for forever and a day, and just one of those really smart players, makes the right play, doesn't try to do anything that's not in their playing zone, and it's almost like the old and the new.
It is. There's another bucket there from Swatala from McDonald. He takes his tally to 11. 4 from 4 from the field. Froling, single digits on the shot clock. That's his second miss from long range. I guess one difference is that McDonald had got his NBL looks. You know, and Tom Wright can't get the continuation, but Shane McDonald, Seaball MVP, 7 times all Seaball team, but spent time with Singapore, Perth, Melbourne, then got that call back to New Zealand a couple of seasons ago. Something that Lucas Barker has yet to have is that chance at the next level.
And it's the hardest spot, and as we both know, that the point guard position in an NBL team is traditionally goes to an import now, unless you're the Damian Martins or the Jason Cadiz who got his opportunity this year. And then there's only limited spots now in that backup position, and we've seen all throughout the NBL for the last couple of years that there is quality backup point guards across the board. So you really have to be able to take your game to the next level, because as our man Corey Homicide would say, it's not a cupcake league. And we've seen potentially Jason Cadiz going back to the bench this year in Brisbane. We've seen the import shuffle with Casper Ware going to Sydney, Mello Trimble going to Melbourne. Obviously there's a spot in Cairns as an import, but they've already got their backup already there. So there's really limited opportunities for those backup point guards.
And I think the other thing that happens within these rosters these days is that previously teams would have 3 point guards on their roster because they never wanted, through injury, to be without 2 guys who would handle the rock and run their team. But these days, it doesn't work like that. Yeah, okay, you might have your starting PG and import, like you say, your backup, your Sean Bruce or your Kyle Adnam or so on and so forth. And from there, they say, well, if we got some combo guys who can handle it at a pinch, if we do, we're good.
Yeah. Mate, I can tell you I had to play point guard for Australia once because CJ Bruton was out injured with a calf injury, and then Luke Martin broke his ankle. And I had to play point guard for the first time in my career with the national team. I backed him down as soon as I caught the ball.
Anthony Mason.
All the way.
94 feet of back down.
Mark Jackson. That's all I did.
Well, we're back underway here. Dandenong down by 10. 4.5 to go in the first. Kenyon lines it up. Can't hit. I'm excited to see Matt Kenyon today. Averaging 9 points a game, but coming off a really good performance last week against Northwest Tassie. Swatala again, that high-low action, and the Spectres taking advantage down low.
At the moment, it's all about easy possessions and easy points. You feel like Nunawading are in a groove, and they're picking out someone on the defensive end to go at. And the other end of the floor, they're moving the ball, but there's no purpose in what they're doing at the moment. A few stray shots. They're also at 4 fouls already with 4 minutes to play in the first quarter, which means that Nunawading has been the aggressor at the moment, and any more fouls from here on out will result in them going to the line.
It looks like they're getting to any spot they want to on the floor. Maybe a little bit more physicality from Dandenong on the defensive end, just to disrupt their offensive rhythm, because right now they're in a roll.
And they've got just the one starter on the floor now. Dandenong, Suka, Oswald, and Marley Biandolo and Kenyon all out there from the bench. Tim Lang, the only starter, whereas Nunawading still Swatala, Con, and McDonald on the floor. And here is McDonald in transition. Swatala strides into it. Wow, he is super confident. Dane Swatala, his 4th triple for the opening quarter.
And it's Swatala leading them 14-8 at the moment.
Oh, God.
He is 5 from 5 from the field, Dane Swatala. 14 points, as you say.
Hasn't even touched the rim yet.
Kenyon wheeling, dealing, and kissing it in off the glass.
Dandenong looks like they're having to work hard for every shot they get. The Spectres are just cruising.
.13-point advantage for the Spectres after that last bucket. Saunders rises up, and Oswald with an ill-advised, undisciplined foul in the corner. Saunders is going to head to the stripe for 3.
That's his 2nd foul, so it's assumed that he would be leaving the game straight away. And Kelly Lepepe back in, and Kelly he's a winner. He's just won at every level that he's gone to, and one of the guys that LMU were really high on. But I mean, he's a young man in a grown man's body, and he's essentially he's as strong as an ox. And the matchup between him and Lucas Walker is intriguing. We talked about the old and the new with Shane and Barker early. Well, Kelly LePepe, he doesn't do anything flashy, but he just makes winning plays for his team.
He's definitely not scared at all. Not scared to mix it up with big bodies down low.
Why would you be scared when you look like Kelly?
Saunders makes it a 14-point advantage for the Spectres. I want to talk about Saunders when we next get a chance. I've been impressed with his play. Comes in and lets it fly immediately. Here's Kenyon attacking along the baseline. Finds Sukup, and he sticks the floater across the lane. Nice hit, Declan Sukup.
Was once a training player for Joey Wright, so you know what sort of player he's going to be, full of confidence. A young fella, still, I feel like I've known Declan forever and a day, but a young fella that, you know, he's another person trying to find his feet, and a really good role player in the NBL1.
It's like Dandenong went back to the 2-3 zone.
Tim Lang trying to bully Lucas Walker, and that's a travel. Good D by Lucas Walker. You mentioned Sukup as a training player for Joey Wright. Another guy who's spent some time with Joey Wright. Stepping into the Spectres lineup this week, Ben Eyre. Not on the floor right now. We hope to see him a little later. Back from Newman University. And excited to see what he's going to be able to bring. Chatting with head coach Dave Biwa pre-game. He doesn't really know our stuff much yet, but he's a pick and roll player and we're a pick and roll team, and if the right situation presents, he'll get some playing time.
That's the best, when you don't know what you're doing, and it gives you an excuse to go out there and do whatever you want. That's like having a green light. You don't want to stuff up, but you just want to keep shooting.
I didn't know, Coach. I didn't know.
I didn't know. Just give me the rock. Come up, Simon. Let's go to work.
And that was a nice drive by Tom Wright, and that's that 3-on-3 play. Obviously, his coach is on the sideline for 3-on-3 as well. And
oh, wow. 93% free throw shooter.
We didn't even put the muzzle on him.
Right, no. And he misses.
Little Kawhi bounce going the other way.
Indeed. Good hands there. There's 11 on the clock as the ball goes back to the Rangers.
Have you got the Warriors winning it all, mate?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
I don't know. Milwaukee's looking pretty good.
Look pretty good.
I'm sticking with Milwaukee.
You're sticking with them?
I've had them since about game 20 of the season.
Is that right? You and Charles Barkley? Were you before Sir Charles?
I think I was before.
Yeah, there's your boy, Sukup, with the step back. That was nice. Yeah, well, they've certainly been very impressive in the opening couple of games of the conference finals.
If the Warriors get KD back, I think the Warriors get the nod from me.
When's he expected back? Game 5, is it?
Game 5, they're saying now, but then might be worse than they thought.
I think it's worse than what they're saying.
Is that right?
I'm thinking it's an Achilles. The way he pulled up, it just looked like an Achilles.
That. I've done my Achilles, and I know that.
In that dunk contest, was it?
Mine?
Yes.
Oh, now you're chiming in. Bookends. Okay.
Hey, did you do your Achilles before you had no speed or after when you had no speed?
What? I was all speed, baby.
I know. Liam was a speed demon back in the day.
back in the day. It's a 12-point ball game. LePepe, oh, they needed that. And they've cut it to 10.
For all the work Nunawading's done, Dandenong's done a good job of staying in this game. Feels like the lead should be a lot larger than 10.
Here's Wright. Finds Saunders. He's never shy. Can't hit there. Biondolo pushes it for the Rangers. Crosses it over, pulls up. Back iron. Chronopoulos takes it. 2 for 1 on offer for the Spectres. And Wright lobs it for Walker and count it. And the foul. Lucas Walker at the rim.
Lucas always been an athlete, and sometimes you just got to hang around the rim to get those easy points, and that pass was on time, on target. Lucas, all he had to do was tap it in, and 6 fouls to 1 in the first quarter, going in Nunawading's favour at the moment. It's a funny thing, basketball, it always goes in ebbs and flows, so I'd expect the second quarter, maybe that will even itself out.
It's 11 assists to 1 as well. McDonald and Tom Wright setting the table for their teammates. Swatala on the perimeter, and now Walker at the rim. And ball's going back to the Rangers. 25 seconds on the game clock as we wind our way down to the end of the opening term. It should be a 14 on the shot clock, I would think. It's 10 right now. And there we go, we're back to 14. So an 11-second differential. With a 13-point advantage for the Spectres. They swing it. And Saunders takes it. Last play of the quarter here. McDonald sizing up Kenyon. His left hand whips it to Hronopoulos, pulls up, splash. Costas Hronopoulos with the buzzer beater as the Spectres take a 31-16 advantage into the opening break.
Well, Nunawading just look like they're doing it too easy at the moment. It look a lot easier. Their sets are getting through hands and moving with a purpose. And Dandenong, they seem like they're just struggling at the moment to know their identity on the offensive end. And they went to that 2-3 zone to just try and generate some sort of defense, but it's just been way too much from Nunawading and their experienced crew at the moment.
As we take in a little Gangnam style, I'm not sure. Is that how we do it down here at Dandenong, Michael?
Evidently.
But it all started with that Dane Swatala scoring explosion
Yes.
in the opening few minutes, and he finishes the opening term with 16 points. He's 4 of 4 from long range, and he's been all kinds of a problem so far.
I never would have guessed it from him. He is a physical player, and he can shoot the mid range. So I'm not sure what he is from 3 this year, but I don't think the scout would say he's a knockdown.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Really?
The stats
Really?
would say
Yeah,
that he actually is.
Well, that's
Really?
the thing. Yeah, he's actually been their best 3-point shooter on the season. He's just having a great year. 46% from 3.
Well, that's that summer. That's
leading the team in scoring and rebounding.
that work in the summer. Work in the summer got him where he needed to be, because that's definitely was his forte, even previous seasons. So he was worried about getting a little older and having to add a little bit more to his game, so maybe he just added that.
Yeah, well, he's 32,
That's
but he looks 27 out there.
I'd expect Dandenong maybe to pick the ball up a little bit further now and get the ball out of McDonald and Wright's hands and make someone else make decisions. I think in the first quarter that those two guys just were able to pick Dandenong apart, and the ability to get the ball out of their hands now make someone like Lucas Walker or Simon Con be the decision makers down the court, just to try and junk this up a little bit.
Well, how much do you rate teams that have played together for a while, that experience, as opposed to a team that hasn't played much together?
Well, I think especially in the NBL1 level, someone like Simon and McDonald just have that rapport and know each other's game inside and out. And when you don't get to train as much as what you would as if you're in an NBL team, having that familiarity and ability just to know where each other are going to be on the court, I think is huge.
Yeah.
Good take from Sam Froling for the opening bucket. The second term takes his tally to 4. Right crosses Barker, and last touch by the Rangers.
Referee.
First couple of minutes of the ball game for Tyler Robertson, number 6 for the Rangers.
He's another junior that's heading over to college here in the next couple of months, or a couple of weeks, I believe.
He's going to follow in the footsteps of, Brock Modem, your guy Felix Von Hoff, Jacob Wiley, and the like at Eastern Washington.
Venky Joyce.
Venky Joyce, good call. And he can really stroke it. Robertson, a part of that Emus squad alongside Froling and LePepe under Darren Perry.
Yes.
Fouls number 32, Lucas Walker.
Actually, Coach Perry's son's over at Eastern Washington at the moment. He's a sophomore, I believe, over there at Eastern Washington. Jack Perry.
Who had a really good game in the youth league as well.
Yes, right. Here's Barker. Gets the switch, has Walker. Froling with the mismatch. Mouse in the house. Tom Wright bodies him up. Froling spins and can't finish on the opposite side. McDonald exploring in transition. And that was a good no call for mine. They wanted a foot violation. Wow. Nice little hesitation dribble there from Barker, and he draws the foul and heads to the stripe.
Well, 2 quick fouls. I said this would even out fairly quickly in the second quarter, and after only 1 foul in the first quarter, 2 quick ones in the first minute here for Nunawading, and it's backed on the basis of aggressive play by Dandenong, making plays at the rim, not settling for jumpers, putting the decision in the referee's hands to try and make a call. And like he said, a nice little hesitation move that just stood up his defender and put his head down and got to the basket.
He's got a little funky to his game, Lucas Barker. Creative in transition. Saw that his creativity on display in the 3x3 when he tossed that thing over his head on the floor.
Yeah, we call him Sports Center now.
He said his phone blew up. He woke up the next morning to a phone that looked like a Christmas tree. Here's Wright. Skip pass from Walker. Hronopoulos. Great ball movement. Finds McDonald. And he can't hit, but Con tips it in.
Just veteran presence by Con, and haven't had a lot going for him offensively at the moment, and sometimes the best points he can get is right next to the rim, getting an offensive rebound as Dexter fills it up from beyond the arc, and someone who really has the ability at this level just to turn a game on its head just from pure shooting. And I think Dandenong need to probably run a few more things for him. He's hit a nice little pull-up jumper, hit a 3 now. You probably need to shoot the ball a few more times.
Yeah, well, there is only 2 field goal attempts so far. Froling hasn't been hesitant at all. Draws the foul on Con, and that's one of the things that has really stood out with Froling in his brief time in the NBL1 thus far is his ability to operate in the block. He has a multitude of moves down there.
Well, lefties just look better, right? And
yes, definitely.
you know, with Sam, he's going to go left, and if he gets cut off left, then he's probably going to go left again. And it's one thing to say to stop it, it's another thing to actually stop it, as many people found out with Ricky Grace, and he's just finding his knack. I think once he gets his shot down pat a little bit more, he becomes a much bigger threat, and he gets a lane violation there, which is just, you can just tell he's just eager to do well at the moment, and that's just a young person mistake.
What would you say his biggest learning curve is going to be coming into the league at his position?
His dad still, Shane. Shane will still rule the roost there forever and a day. But
ooh, I like that activity from Froling as he stares down the ref after picking up the personal.
I think it's actually an ideal situation for him to come in at the moment in the 4 spot when the league is so dominated in the point guard position and the center position at the moment. That's where teams really load up. He's on a really young team at Illawarra, playing with a bunch of his mates and all that, so he's going to get opportunities. Where he's going to struggle is someone like a David Barlow who can stretch him out to 3, who has the strength to be able to play against him in the post, because everyone calls Dave Crowbar down there.
Yeah.
But someone like that is going to give him troubles. The other person, to my mind, is going to be someone like Ty Wesley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, everyone struggles with Ty Wesley, especially guarding him in the post. He's got a myriad of moves that is so hard to guard, and he just takes his time. Doesn't say he's not going to struggle, but you think of that position. Nick Kay, first team All NBL, another workhorse that just plays fundamentally great basketball, but you can see from that he's got the skill set to be a good if not a great player in the NBL, but it's just going to take time and learning experience of some of these older heads. My concern at Illawarra is who's going to be the guy that is going to teach him these lessons on a day-in, day-out basis. That's why I think Dave Anderson coming back to Illawarra should be a priority of someone of that magnitude that can say, all right, Sam, this is how you're a professional every single day. And it's not that Sam doesn't want to be a professional now, but you just don't know.
Exactly.
And if you don't know what you don't know, it's hard to learn. I was lucky when I came in the league. I had Jason Smith, CJ Bruton, even someone like Ben Knight who looked after his body to the nth degree. I was lucky to have people like that surrounding me to teach me what to do. I worry that if they don't sign someone like David Anderson, that Sam and the rest of that young crew won't have that built in.
It's a good call. I'm expecting to see him back there.
You would know, Waj.
But no, it's going to be exciting to watch. Obviously, an automatic entrant into the 2020 NBA draft. Following in the footsteps of his brother. Interested to see how things pan out for him in the States in the next few weeks. And as this is a 12-point game. McDonald lines a straightaway three. Can't hit. Walker out-muscles Barker, but loses the pill. And we're going the other way. Lepepe wants it in the block. He's got Hronopoulos. Finds Robertson. That's down. Splash.
The way Darren's handled his juniors and the way he handles his juniors, they step right into the side and have immediate confidence in themselves to play at this level.
Ooh, blocking foul called. Count it and the foul. Lucas Walker and Dexter Koenig-Drew cannot believe it.
I got to watch this on replay.
I like it. I'm not sure he was quite set, Koenig-Drew, and Walker with the strong attack got the benefit of the doubt.
How about a no call? Let's just give it a no call. How about that?
Do you subscribe to...
Q were though.
I thought it was probably a block on second look.
There you go.
Do you subscribe to Cameron Tregar's theory about if the referees have to put their hand behind their head like they do in college and point the other way, that referees would be less likely to call charges? Because at the moment they like get into the game and like they punch the air and
I tell you what I do subscribe to. I like that. I do subscribe to this as a directive to the officials.
Yeah.
If you're ever in doubt about the charge block, give the benefit of the doubt to the offense. Like that play there, that's a highlight reel play. That's a bucket and a foul. It's a three-point play. We like the bang-bang contact.
Yeah. And
you don't want a situation where players are scared to attack the rim like Walker just did there, because time and time again they're getting called for offensive fouls.
I definitely agree with that. Unless I was playing defense.
Here's Froling. Sizes up Switala and splashes it in his mug.
And that looked a lot more comfortable than his earlier jump shots.
His potential is through the roof, Sam Froling. We've seen him wheeling and dealing in the block. Oh, wow, big hit there. Pepe cleans up Saunders.
Right. He is a man
seven on the clock here, 5-4. They need to let it fly, McDonald, and it's picked off by Lepepe. Great hands. And, oh, wow, okay. A transition stopping, unsportsmanlike foul.
That's that new directive.
On Costas Hronopoulos. Here's the replay. That would have been the old professional foul. Now sends Lepepe to the stripe with possession, and our man Mark Worthington did not enjoy it.
No, come on, man.
Well, that's the rule.
I know it's the rule.
That's the rule. Don't hate the ref.
I don't hate the ref for making it. I know it's the rule. I just don't like the rule.
Yeah. Well,
I
like the rule.
I think there's a difference between a professional foul being called unsportsmanlike and a lot of touch fouls that are called unsportsmanlike because they deem it to be.
Right.
I tell you why I like the rule. just in an overall umbrella general sense.
Yep.
We see more transition plays play out now than we used to, because that foul that stopped the play is going out of the game. And as a result, we see that in that situation, Lepepe should be advancing towards the ring. We're promoting those situations, and then we get that athletic contest at the rim. And the thing is, what we don't know, often we don't notice that we're getting more because there's no call involved, because the guy would have fouled and holds up and says, "No, I can't do it."
There's also certain situations in transition where you get the point guard that's actually accentuating that contact, making that contact first, and that's probably the only iffy part about that rule is when the point guard then starts to make those contacts to get those calls.
Which, I mean, he's not a point guard, but that's what Lepepe was kind of slightly doing there in transition. Big call, though, in the context of this game, because those free throws cut it to an 8-point game, and they get the ball back, Dandenong. They were down 16-31 at quarter time. It's been a 16-9 run so far in this quarter, as Kenyon wheels and deals off the dribble, finds Froling, and the shot clock expires in the background. Good call.
He had a nice open mid-range there. Thought he'd pull up and take that one.
Well, that's a lack of confidence there from Matt Kenyon. You're right. Just needed to kiss that thing off the glass.
That's the second time he's done it as well, trying to keep his dribble underneath the backboard and instead of getting a layup or a nice little bank shot.
Yeah.
Here's Robertson all up in McDonald's stuff. Handoff with Wright. Good deep from Kenyon. Bit of weave action from the Spectres. I like that take from Costas Hronopoulos. And he gets the bucket with the foul.
A nice little dribble handoff action and that slow step a la D-Mac used to do all the time.
Little Manu Ginobili about that play there.
Really nice play. And
good job to finish it.
One of those plays, like Joey Wright is really good at coaching that certain move, and something that I already had in my game, but something that he gave someone like Brendan Tees, and you'd see Brendan Tees do that in the NBL now. Slow step as Kelly Lepepe lets it fly.
Athletic rebound from Hronopoulos. Can't get the handle. Falls to Wright. He finds, he turns it over, trying to thread the needle to Swatala. And here comes Suka. Dandenong, 10-point game. Had a
going to work.
Great spin move, Lepepe. And he misses the bunny, but counts it on the second attempt.
Well, $1 million move and a 10-cent finish on the first attempt, but that's what Kelly Lepepe does. He hangs with it, makes the play, and another turnover.
Fourth in the NBL1 for offensive rebounds, Kelly Lepepe from the 3 spot.
Well, I'd probably be good at offensive rebounding too if I'm going to miss my layups and go get it again. And I'm not saying that Kelly does that all the time.
He shoots 60% from the field.
60%, yeah.
But just his activity and his strength.
And he's going to give LMU something different at that height, being able to play the 3 spot.
Yep.
Because Dunlap likes players that A, look after the ball, and B, just make the right play. And Kelly seems to make the right play a lot of the time.
Yep. 50% from 3. Here's Suka. Can't hit. There is Lepepe attacking the offensive glass. Can't quite pull it down.
You know what, his athleticism is off the charts. His just jump and re-jump is just as high as some people's normal jump.
Wright puts it on the deck, right down the heart of the D. Can't finish. Froling worried him out of it, and he pushes in transition, putting his skills on display. Hesitation step. Little jitterbug action. Can't finish himself. Hronopoulos back at it. And that thing's off Tom Wright.
A couple of turnovers in a row for the Spectres, opening the door for the Rangers.
And here comes that man I was talking about earlier, Ben Eyre, number 3 for the Spectres, as timeout called by Darren Perry. 8-point ball game.
Well, a little bit ugly both ways there for the last minute and a half, and a good timeout just to
definitely
control or settle everyone down. Let's get through a good set. Like we said before, expect DP to come out and probably change up his defense and not let the Spectres get into a rhythm again. But down the other end, I think you'd want to get the ball into Sam Frolling's hands, probably down the post, and either make a play or make a nice pass out of it.
Normally out of these sort of timeouts, he goes to a floppy set and then gets it in that way, have him set a screen with the guards coming out and then drop it back into him.
I found it interesting, the starting lineup the Spectres threw out there today, clearly in response to Lepepe, right? That's why Lucas Walker started ahead of Kostas Renopoulos, who has been starting in that spot. But that starting unit with Renopoulos in there instead of Walker are plus 60 on the year for Nunawading. Their next best five-man lineup is plus 10. Wow. So out and out the group that has been getting it done, but Biwa having the confidence to flip things up in response to his opposition. Eight-point game, 2.5 out from half-time.
Spectres come out in the zone. Out of the timeout.
Pepe finds Kenyon on the baseline. He retreats. Air and Wright scrambling around the perimeter, and Sukup long on his three-point attempt. Here is that kid, Ben Air. Back from college. Feeds Swatella. It's a smart play. He finds Con. Bang. Simon Con knocks it down from long range. He's got 9 now, Con, with 5 boards and 2 assists.
Maybe look for Darren to counter with Drew. Get some shooting back in the game.
Especially if Matt Kenyon's not going to shoot the ball.
The other one to go to is Tyler Robertson, who came out and splashed that one triple as a knockdown shooter. Con finds Air, a little hesitant. Single digits on the clock, and Swatala continues.
I was about 30 seconds late because I said I was going to say he's only had 1 shot for the quarter to this point, and when you've come out on fire in the first, you want to keep on flowing, and it's surprising that's only his 2nd shot of the quarter, and now 5 of 6 on the game.
Good take from Barker underneath.
Just a strong finish.
Good look from Swatala, and Con cashes in from mid-range.
Like I said, historically, he's killed us from that spot.
Simon Con is like the Tim Duncan of the NBL1.
Sure is.
The big fundamental.
Barker knocks it down from long range, and just like his name, he barks to the home crowd. Swatala's open underneath. Geez, that's too easy.
That is ugly, ugly defense. And it's all good to celebrate a 3, Barker, but if there's one person behind you, you probably want to guard him.
Especially the man who's now got 20.
Oh, he's going for a Bet Cole 40.
He's going for you picked the wrong guy. Swatala on track for 40. As we count down to the half, 5 minutes on the clock. Wright has it. Crosses up Sukup. Wheels, deals, and knocks down the floater. A bucket on the buzzer from Tom Wright gives the Spectres a 53-39 advantage at the half. Stay with us. We'll be back in a few minutes. Wrap up the opening half.
Playing up some 3-on-3. Official beverage supplier of Dandenong Basketball. Schweppes is one of Australia's iconic brands and long-time supplier and partner of Dandenong Basketball. Enjoy the leading brands Solo, Gatorade and Cool Ridge Water next time you visit the kiosk at Dandenong Basketball Stadium. To Berwick Mazda is proudly the Rangers' #1 dealer of choice. Visit the team at Berwick Mazda and don't forget to mention you are a Rangers supporter. Berwick Mazda, 3 Prestige Place, Narry Warren. At Dandenong Basketball, our coaching staff and players choose to be dressed by athletic both on and off the court. P3 Sports and Recovery is Berwick's elite recovery centre for sports people throughout the region. The facility provides services to help people prepare, perform and prevent using state-of-the-art technology, equipment and support at levels levels usually reserved for elite athletes. And finally, Dandenong Steel. Dandenong Steel is a family-run local business that has been operating in the Dandenong area for over 4
clubs for a lot of years were scared to take a chance on an NBL import or a player of this level. Solid fadeaway from Dane. But a lot of clubs are afraid to take a chance on someone at this level. But if you perform well at this level, you will get a chance. So this isn't just a throwaway league. This is actually a pathway now. That's the exciting thing.
We've seen a couple of guys signed out of the league already in NBL free agency. Obviously, these are guys that have been a part of the NBL system previously. Guys like Denga Kuth and Kwani doing good things with the undefeated Ballarat Miners. Kuth signed with the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, and Kwani headed to the Sydney Kings.
I just love that Kwani's got another job and another chance. One of the really, really nice guys of the NBL, and someone I couldn't be happier for the work that he does, not only, you know, on his basketball game, but the stuff that he does with the community as well. And just one of the really good human beings of this planet. And, we wish him all the best in Sydney.
The first bucket of the second half there for the Rangers. It makes it a 12-point game. And they turn it over in transition.
Now, mate, you talked about the NBL being, or NBL1 being a stepping stone as Swatella misses his third shot for the quarter. You're part of the legendary has-beens as well. Has the NBL been a stepping stone for you to make the has-beens team?
Correct.
As Froling knocks down a 3, takes his tally to 12. And Swatella answers in transition.
He's a great athlete at that size. For Dane to get out and run like that, that's an awesome weapon to have for the Spectres. But Werther, you're right. The league was always something most of us aspire to. But those of us that knew about it, the has-beens is always the end goal.
Froling, back-to-back triples from the rising star Sam Froling, and the Rangers are storming back into this one. Barker with the steal and can't quite finish.
We've seen Dandenong go up the court, which I called for in the second quarter, and you know they've already got a steal off it already, but making other people make decisions. Nice little steal, didn't get rewarded with the layup, but that man, it's just all class.
Well, that's exactly what Dandenong is trying to do, is take the ball out of Shane McDonald's hands. He's been a fantastic decision maker for a long time, and if you can speed them up and get the ball out of his hands, you're going to increase your chances.
It's a 10-point game after that McDonald bucket. And Froling, he's up to 15 points to go with his 6 rebounds, working on a nice stat line. It's McDonald wheeling, dealing on his left hand, finds right in the corner. Splash, that's down. 13-point lead to the Spectres. Barker with the answer. Can't get it, and Swatella out-muscles Walker, his teammate, for the rebound. He's right. Oh, an offensive foul, perhaps. Walker cleans it up, and just when Dandenong had cut it to 8, it's very quickly back out to 15.
And going to get a flop warning as well.
Geez, I thought that could have been an offensive foul on Tom Wright.
Fouls get whistles, Liam. That was some contact. It wasn't a foul.
Okay.
Fouls get whistles, and that's the biggest thing about this league. You've got a bunch of guys that enjoy contact and those that seek contact. And it's easy to tell the difference.
Which one were you, Cam?
Both. That's the reason why we love lifting weights is the ability to bump into the little guys and make a difference. But then again, when it was going against you, you'd always try and let the Zebras see what was going on.
You talk about the strength and conditioning work that you're doing here at Dandenong, and there's probably quite a few kids watching or listening to this. What would you tell them about the work that you need to do off the court to get your body ready to play at a level like this?
Just some consistency in the habits that you build, both mechanical and behavioural. Learn to move really, really well to eliminate the risk of the injuries we can prevent.
Neutral spine.
Absolutely.
That's his key word.
Okay.
In terms of the gym, absolutely. That's my. You've heard one of my spiels, one of my many rants, but both behavioural and mechanical habits. Move well as a habit, but also do a little bit of preparation, a little bit of recovery. Invest in your body, not just your skills.
Barker's in double figures. Splashes a couple of free throws. It's a 13-point margin. McDonald lines one up from range. Can't hit. Froling cleans it up. Big couple of minutes here for Dandenong. They were cutting back in. And the leader's ballooned back out. Froling, he's been feeling it this quarter. Can't find the bucket there. And, geez. Maybe a rough call there on Shane McDonald on the block out.
Yeah, I think Shane's done exactly what you teach your guards to do. Go find contact, back up into the big guy. And I think he's trying to get an explanation right now, and he's not liking any of it.
As you know, Liam, little guys try and get away with whatever they can. Any excuse against a big guy. He undercut Timmy. It was absolutely a foul, but he's still got to fight against it.
See, I'm not so sure. I think he just landed the block out. Tim came flying over his back, and he has every right to hold that position for mine.
When Timmy's in the air, you can't undercut him. You can't take out a guy's leg.
Okay.
I love the fact that you're supporting the little guy. You're fighting that fight.
I got you, Shani Mack. Anyway, the ball's going back to Dandenong. That's 2 team fouls on the Spectres, none on the Rangers, and they roll it in to Lang. He pounds away at Simon Conn, rolls over his right shoulder, and can't hit the fadeaway. And ooh, it's starting to get a little interesting between Lepepe and Walker. And their chit-chat continues down the floor. This was what we thought we might get from that matchup at some point.
And I love that from Kelly. He's one of the hardest working young guys in the league. He does a great job in the gym. He's super strong, and he's not going to take a backseat to a great veteran like Lucas. But yeah, Kelly's out here to have a crack.
Have you been working with him in the gym?
Not me. Mitch Craze, the strength coach for the senior group. Yeah, Kelly's ready to go. LMU, I think. He's super strong. He's ready to go. I know we're those wearing the LMU pride. But yeah, Kelly's super strong in the weight room, and he has a crack out on the field. He's an undersized 4, and that's where he's going to play in college.
Right.
But he has a red hot crack when he's on the court.
Well, let's take stock here. 5 minutes 50 to go in the third quarter. It's a 13-point lead to Nunawading. The Rangers getting up the floor defensively. Dane Swatala with the ball here. He had 20 first half points. He's stuck on 22 right now as Wright finishes that one down the lane.
That's a danger when you go up the floor, as that ball gets into the middle of the floor. Sort of is the teeth of your defense, and he gets a wide open, easy look at the rim when you probably want the Spectres just to try and work a little bit harder for their points right now.
Biondolo looks to create, and he does. Scores at the rim. I like that they're getting after it, and Swatala lines it up from the corner. Short, and here go the Rangers again. They find Froling. This is where he's at his best on that right block. Rolls over his shoulder. Lefty hook. Can't finish. And the ball finds Walker and Conn high-low. They've been effective at it all night, and Conn earns his way to the strike.
And just good body positioning from Simon. That's a vet move. Walked his players, said, I'm going to allow you to front me. I'm just going to walk you up the lane a little bit. Pass, not quite on target, but Simon just has more fakes than the Shanghai market out there. And Old Faithful just gets the job done and goes to the line for another two.
That's what Nunawading have been doing for years. If anyone tries to front Simon Conn, somebody flashes to the elbow, gets the lob, and you're exactly right. It's simple, fundamental basketball, but it's been working for a while.
And it's crazy to me that I think everyone knows that you've got to be able to deny that flash guy. And if you can deny that flash guy, then it really slows down the ball movement. Once again, you've got to put the ball in someone else's hands to make it a play. But you just can't allow. It's almost like the Stockton Malone of the NBL1 that have been able to do this for years on end, and it doesn't matter who they bring in at the 4 spot. It's been Mitch Creek, it's been Tommy Greer throughout the years. You've just got to take them out of their comfort zone a little bit.
Their Stockton Malone moment these days, and for the last few years, has been that pick and roll with McDonald at Con. Little pocket bounce pass and a little banker off the glass. But you're right, that high-low action has become more of a staple in recent years with this Swatella-Con combination.
And that's exactly right, is the difference between scouting it, knowing it's going to happen, and the ability to stop it. It's buying in and the ability, like you said, to deny that flash. Yeah, everyone's going to front Simon, but it's the ability then to deny the second phase that's going to make the difference.
Well, 15, the difference. Geez, we thought we were going to have another close one there for a moment when the Rangers came storming back earlier this quarter on the back of a couple of Sam Froling 3 balls. But a great response from the Spectres. Their cool heads prevailing, and they've pushed this thing back out. This Swatella squares up. Oh, finds Phrenopoulos with the athletic alley-oop finish.
And we talk about the old firm. They've just picked out Oswald again. As soon as he came on the floor, we said, well, we'll just post up our guy against him. We know we got 2 quick fouls in the first half as Oswald lets fly for 3.
The Rangers get it back. They're going back at Froling. He's going to work on Con. Couldn't finish last time. Can't finish again. And his frustration starting to boil over, and Con can't finish down the other end. And the Rangers have numbers. Barker almost travelled, and Froling throws it down.
Jack Saunders, smile. You just had your Kodak moment.
Thanks, Reggie. Here's Con from mid-range. Ooh, geez, you almost put that in the bank when he lets that fly. And Froling's feeling good.
It's almost like Scott Fisher when he used to shoot the baseline jumper. You never felt like that thing it was ever going to miss.
Oh, Kenyon blocks McDonald. That lefty floater has been a staple for Shane McDonald for so many years, and Kenyon was wise to it. Barker puts it on the deck, down the lane, takes the contact, and scores the bucket.
Well, tough finish, but he probably should have made the extra pass and made it a little bit more difficult than what he needed to, but degree of difficulty on that finish was high and was able to get the points, but I'm sure that would be something on DP's video. He just said, mate, great play. However, probably just make the easy pass to the corner for a 3 ball.
Yeah, and he's a knockdown shooter, Tyler Robertson, who was wide open there. The Rangers, that first quarter, there was about a 5-minute stretch there in the first quarter, and those opening few minutes when Swatella was on fire. And apart from that, they've been right in this ball game. They've been trading buckets for the last couple of minutes, and they're still within striking distance.
They've been right there. The energy's been fantastic. But like you see from a young group, is the energy's up, the energy's great, but the older heads, the decision-making from Nunawading is getting it done. Fine, presses. We've got 3 or 4 guys on the floor that can make decisions. And it's like what I said earlier, that second tier, great follow by Waxy.
The Spectres outworking Dandenong on the boards. Phrenopoulos looked like he copped a finger in the eye, and he wanted a call, couldn't get it, and the ball's going to the Rangers. I feel like this lineup for Nunawading, you talk about their veteran heads and their ability to just regain control of the game. Right now, no McDonald, no Wright, no Con. And it looks like Wright's about to check back in for Phrenopoulos. And they've got the youngster Ben Eyre and also Jack Saunders out there. Might be a lineup the Rangers might be able to make a run at.
Yeah, B was trying to steal a couple of minutes before 3/4 time for his veterans. So you're right, this is an opportunity if Dandenong can make a run. This is a chance to chip into this, make it single digits before the fourth.
Kenyon, he'll get himself to the stripe.
And really nice action off the ball there. And they got the post feed just off the block to create that little extra space. And Matt Kenyon with a nice curl and cut off the ball to get himself to the free throw line. And someone who I'd expect to find his offensive game here. We talked about it in the second quarter. He just looks like he's struggling with his confidence at the moment. This is a guy that was on the Brisbane Bullets roster, and you know, he made impact plays when he came on for that Brisbane team. They struggled down the bottom of the ladder, but still got valuable minutes and just looks a shell of his former self at the moment, as well as Dexter Kearney-Drew, who we haven't seen a whole lot of tonight.
Yeah, you'd like to see Kenyon get going in the final term, coming off a good game. Oh, that's an offensive foul there on Sortella. Good D from Tyler Robertson. Yeah, he's coming off 15 points, 4 rebounds and 4 assists in that big win over Northwest Tassie. And it was nice to see him get a little confidence in that one, but yeah, tonight hasn't quite been able to get it going, Matt Kenyon. So Chronopoulos comes back in. The Spectres have 2 starters on the floor in Con and Walker. The Rangers have 1 in Tim Lang. Here's Sukup, finds Robertson. He takes Con off the dribble and floats it in. He's been impressive in limited minutes, Tyler Robertson.
I've watched him through the juniors and with the national programs with Vic Metro, and a kid that has never seen a shot that he didn't like out on the court, but it's good for him to come out to this level and still show that same level of confidence to shoot the rock.
Well, a chance to cut it to single digits here for the Rangers. A minute and change left in the third term. Lang down the middle. Good find by Robertson. And Lang will go to the stripe.
Timmy's been doing this for a lot of years. Tim Lang is a super fundamental, big body. He knows how to play at this level and be successful against someone like Simon Conn, against Waxy Walker. He's
the big Bangalang.
Exactly right. He's a super option for the Rangers. So if he can lead this younger group, he's going to be super important for him.
He was a teammate of mine at the Melbourne Tigers, and really, really great guy. Good team guy to have on your bench that brought the energy at training every day, and you know, he's another guy that's been a staple for NBL1 for a long period of time. And
almost a backcourt violation there for the Spectres. And it's an 8-point game. Renopoulos from range, that's short and left. And the Rangers will get it back. Okay, just wrestling back the momentum again. 8 points the difference. 53 seconds remaining in the third term, and the Spectres over the foul limit. This bench group for Darren Perry has got the job done. Oswald comes round the horn to Robertson. He finds Kenyon. Again, didn't want to shoot it. Went down to single digits, 5 on the shot clock. Lang needs to shoot it, finds Oswald. And he gets bailed out. 2 on the shot clock. Walker backs into him, and Oswald goes to the strike.
And a great find from Tim Lang again. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and I felt like there was a little bit of luck involved in that one, but Oswald moved to the right spot. Lucas Walker gets called for the foul on the arm, and another chance to bite into this lead and potentially get it down to 6. Yep, put the Mozzer on him. You're welcome. Spectres fans, you're welcome.
Well, he's playing a good chunk of minutes tonight, Oswald. And knocks that one down.
This full court press has really given him a few headaches and caused a few turnovers, and if it hasn't caused the turnovers, it's wasted clock.
Of course, with McDonald and Wright back on the floor, they handle it. And Walker gets a bucket right down the middle. Good response at the perfect time from Coach Biwa. Robertson open in the corner. Oh, doesn't quite square his feet. Lets it go. Bang! Tyler Robertson with his second three of the game. Just before the three-quarter time buzzer, big hit from the youngster Tyler Robertson. Cuts this thing to 6 with a quarter to play. And Cam, before we let you go, how do you see this final quarter playing out?
Like you said, that last bucket from Tyler is a huge bucket for a young group going into three-quarter time. The momentum, he hit a 3, we're back within 6. With the firepower on the Dandenong team, this is anyone's game. So that momentum is huge going into the break.
We're kind of looking for sort of one bold call from you for the final quarter that we can have some fun with.
Kelly Lupepe to have a huge impact, be it scores, rebounds, both. I think that physical presence with some energy against some older Nunawading bodies.
To get him over the line?
I would love to say yes. It's going to be close. He'll get them close. A couple of key plays.
We didn't bring you on to sit on a fence, mate. Come on.
No, fair point. No splinters.
A few splinters. It's going to be a long night.
I think the Spectres are going to get it done.
I
would love the Rangers to get it close and push them to make me wrong.
Right.
But I think the old heads at Nunna are going to get it done.
Okay. Not quite as bold as we were looking for, but it was a call nonetheless.
You've been fired, mate. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Don't let the door hit me on the way out.
Thank you, Cam. It's been good. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Great to have you on. Cam Rigby, NBL veteran. How about having 20 and 15 in your debut game in the NBL?
More the point.
I like how he just kept the headphones on just a moment extra.
He's lingering. He's lingering for comment.
Just to hear us sing his praises as we welcome our man Michael Bookins. Wow, I'm in the hot seat. As we welcome our man Michael Bookins back in the call. I'm trying to do the right thing by our guy here, Michael Bookins, our Dandenong expert.
That's all right.
Copping all kinds of heat. We are underway.
Hey, I was listening to the telecast while I was away. I wanted to stick away.
In the final term, Michael's back and Robertson's back at it to begin this final period, scoring in transition and cutting this thing to 6.
What a brilliant move by Darren to apply the press and to speed up the tempo of the game.
Liam, I said it a lot of times with the Taipans games this year, but confidence is a hell of a drug. And you can just feel the confidence.
Michael, have you never heard that?
No, I heard a different version.
Okay.
there is a different version.
Right. Let's stick with confidence right here.
Confidence, and Tyler's come in, and he's just been confident in his shot, turned the tide with his 3-ball, but also this energy on the defensive end from Dandenong.
Yeah, he is balling out. He's got 11 now. And that's almost another turnover with the press for the Spectres. Wright ends up finishing it. And 5 points the difference. And we have ourselves a ball game for your NBL1 Game of the Week. The 3rd place Nunawading Spectres visiting the 7th place Dandenong Rangers. And the youngsters from Dandenong, with a couple of old heads like this man, Tim Lang, is making a game of this down the stretch.
So when do you go back? When do you go back to the starting lineup after you got some kids out there bringing some energy? Worth?
I'm probably looking at this next minute. They've been good on defense so far. They've changed the game. They've changed the tempo of the game. You sort of let this group ride it out for the next minute or two. But I think you've also got to keep your finger on the pulse. And it's at 5 points right now. I think if it gets to 8, you maybe look to make a change. Not many changes, but this group's been balling. And I think DP's one of those coaches that rides with the group that's been going for him. And at the moment, this has been the momentum-changing group.
Robertson in the corner. Oh, that would have been big.
And he knew it straight away. He let out a scream as he shot it. He knew it wasn't quite right, and it wasn't that far off either.
Well, he's been so key in this run for the Rangers. McDonald, that left hand for Shane McDonald. Once again, count it, and the foul. McDonald, he takes his tally to 6. He's got 6.6 rebounds and 7 assists. The NBL1 leader in assists. Averaging just a tick under 7 a game, but there, ticking the scoreboard over himself.
I think if DP goes and watches the video to this point, he'll be telling his group, look, we've been that close on getting a couple turnovers with our defense that has resulted in them getting easy buckets in the end, but we're not that far off.
Yeah.
And with a young group, sometimes you just need to have the proof to show them that we're right there.
This has been the story, though, of the game, hasn't it? They've got down a lot. They come back, they get down again, come back, and now the momentum just going back to the Spectres, and Darren Perry feels it. He rings the changes. In come Barker, Froling, and Koenig Drew, and you would think LePepe would be probably next in line to come in for Oswald.
We'll see if they keep up that pressure, for full court pressure.
Well, that's a good hit there from Swatala. He was the man in the opening half. And
I know LePepe's going to come on, but I wouldn't mind seeing Dexter play a little bit of 4 as well in that stretch shooter role. He's had those years now in the NBL where he can be physical enough to play with the 4s at this level, but
good cut from
really
Kenyon.
nice cut. But I'd just like to see him try and find a way to get himself involved in this game a little bit more.
There's the back cut from Kenyon and just can't find Froling. Froling needed a step to the dunker spot.
Correct.
Move without the rock. Renopoulos draws the foul on Koenig Drew. This lineup for the Rangers is young, mobile. It's not particularly big with when you got Tim Lang out of the game. So Froling on Con, LePepe on Swatala. They really need to step up, get the job done here, especially on the glass, on the defensive glass. Limit Nunawading to 1 to 10.
Well, when you've got Kelly LePepe in your group, rebounds aren't really an issue for your team. And yes, he's an undersized 4-man, but the heart that man has and the will to get to the basketball is second to none in Australia at the moment.
Yeah. I was working earlier with the presses. Even if they didn't get the turnover, they still hit sped up the Spectres, so they weren't able to. They don't want to play at that pace.
They're a half-court team, and it wasn't comfortable for them. And that's how they're back in the game. Renopoulos tries to create, finds Swatala, and wow, he stepped. That's the second time tonight in the corner. He stepped on the line, and that one he splashed it. And the referee waves it away.
Trade in the 13s for some 12s, so stay off the sideline.
Well, it's a good lesson for the kids as well, and we all take those shots around the horn and you start in the corner, and the amount of kids that start with their back foot backwards to try and get momentum, you've got to have your feet set inbounds.
Going to work.
Make a play.
Pepe finds Froling. He's long with it. And Nunawading get control. McDonald has it. Oh, it finds Swatala. The Rangers are all over it defensively up the floor.
Definitely work hard to get back into this game.
I was about to cue the Benny Hill music there for a second.
Key shot here. This is a big one. And Tom Wright knocks it down, and we are back to 12. Wow, that was a big, big hit.
And DP was not happy with the 0 rotation out of the trap, with the post feed. And you can't allow someone like Tom Wright just to set his feet.
Kenyon can't answer, and
he just shoots that reluctantly.
You can't help but feel like that bucket, Tom Wright scores, Darren Perry calls for time. You can't help but feel like that bucket was the backbreaker.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the 3 that he knocked down before was a bit of a backbreaker, and you could see the heads go down, momentum that they had, and all the hard work that they'd had, sort of all that air got let out of the stadium, and then to give up the transition basket straight after that.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
They're getting the open looks that they need to get. They're just not knocking them down. Maybe look to put Tyler Robertson back in the game so he's getting those looks. He's been knocking them down at a good clip.
That's Swatala in his mid-range. He only has had 4 in the second half. Swatala, that's the one they cancelled. And this one here, out of the block, Tom Wright toes the arc, splashes it, goes from a single-digit game to 12. And there he is finishing in transition. He's got 16 right to go along with 4 assists. Swatala is the game's leading scorer with 24. And he's got 5 boards and 4 assists. And the 2 other guys in double figures for Nunawading are Con with 13 and Lucas Walker with 11. And for the Rangers, Froling has 17. Barker has 14. And Tyler Robertson with a spark off the bench, 11, 2 of 4 from long range.
And give credit to the Spectres bigs. I know Sam's got 17, but has taken 20 shots on the game and just has failed to find his rhythm here this afternoon.
He's been getting to home base, hasn't he, in the middle of the lane, but just hasn't had the finish as Con and Swatala have troubled him into some misses. 5 minutes, 5.5 to go in this one. 14-point advantage for the Spectres. Swatala, strong take, passed it in the end, and Nunawading will get it back.
I'll tell you what, Tom Wright, who's a former teammate of mine in the Waratah League, way back when, has come a long way from watching me shoot a lot of shots.
Right. Yeah, well, he must be just loving his basketball right now. Tom Wright. With this Nunawading team and the 3x3 and...
I think the 3x3 has given a lot of guys a new lease on life on their basketball, and we saw it last game with Beck Cole and the level that she's taken her game to, not only in the 3-on-3 format, but also in WNBL last season. And people that may not have ever got the opportunity to represent their country in basketball have now got the opportunity, which is great to see.
Steal from Koenig Drew, he finishes. It's a 12-point game, 5 minutes to play, and
Stockton to Malone.
There it is. McDonald dimes up Con.
And that's the experience of this Nunawading side. You know, a lesser side would have panicked when it got down to 5, but they were able to bring it back.
Yeah.
You feel for Dandenong, they worked extremely hard to get back into it, and just like that, it's back up to a big lead.
I'm enjoying Nunawading's clock management right now. Swatala and Wright both turning down open looks. And, geez, they should have ended up with an easy finish underneath, but with less than 5 minutes remaining, up double digits, they're in no rush.
Not at all.
And that's a luxury that you have when you have 2 guys like Tom Wright and McDonald on the court that are able just to slow momentum down, use the shot clock for what it's worth, not be rushed. Had plenty of good looks.
Oh, Con, just
body
out muscles. Just a deft little hip on Dexter Koenig Drew. And the Tim Duncan, the big fundy of the NBL1, scores yet another bucket.
The big condimental.
I think it fits also because the Spectres are a bit like the Spurs of this league. They've got that infrastructure, those old heads, that combination that works. And they're going to be in it as long as they got that group together year after year. The 3x3 is kind of messing with it a little. Guys coming in and out. Certainly Lucas Walker's going to be missing. Tom Wright, Andrew Steele out right now with a groin strain. But it's been a good performance tonight.
I tell you what, I don't like referees, but that was a good call. And it's because the little fellow was into his back. And yes, he did hook him, but you got to see what was made the initial contact. And when you lean that heavily on a big guy, you know, you're trying to get an advantage in the paint where you just don't belong.
Calling the post has always been a struggle. You don't find too many referees that actually played in the post themselves, so it's just a hard thing.
You don't find too many referees that played, period. But I'll give credit.
That's a good call. I think that's a good call.
I give credit where credit's due. They had to make a big change with Bogut coming into the league this year.
They
and
did a good job of it.
I think compared to years past, and what we saw this year dealing with the bigs. I think it's been at a much higher level. Obviously, people are always going to complain and find something to not be happy with, and we see it in every code, not only the NBL but the AFL and what they're going through.
Right.
But I'd say this, that the NBL has gone through a massive change with the referees over the last couple of years. For a long time, there was the same old heads that had been repping, and not many people got allowed to, or young guys got allowed to referee the game. And as we see Dexter knock one down, so I think those younger guys, yes, they might have had their struggles this year, but I think they'll be better again for the experience that they gained this year.
You think Dexter's a bit too unselfish?
No.
For his own good?
In a word. As Wright misses the floater down the lane. Do you?
I think he can shoot a couple more.
Barker,
Shoot a
strong
little bit
take in transition. 75-87. This 12 points. It feels like it's every time there's been ebb and flow, and we keep landing at about this point. The Spectres have done such a good job of just keeping that healthy margin.
I just think late in the game with them down like this, you think you want to get him a couple more shots, run a couple more sets for him.
Yeah, look, I think when he's in the situation that he's in currently with the NBL and in between contracts, I'd like him to be more aggressive towards shooting the ball. That being said, Dandenong seem to have an equal opportunity sort of team about them where everyone gets a shot, and I wouldn't necessarily say they have a go-to guy on this team at the moment. Tonight, you know, Tyler Robinson's been doing his thing. But overall, if you look at their group, you'd expect Sam Froling to get the most shots. But outside of that, who do you really would get a lot of shots? Dexter didn't get a lot of playing time in Cairns this year. And at the end of the day, sometimes that messes with your confidence and your flow in the game and all that. He's got to find his flow again in this back half of the NBL1 season, because he is one of the best shooters in Australia. And when he gets his feet set, as we saw in the last one, he can be lights out and can turn the game single-handedly, but he just seems to be lacking that confidence at the moment.
Well, this is their last roll of the dice, the Rangers. Down 12, less than 3 minutes. They get up the floor, they steal it through Robertson. Barker got hit, should have got the call. Froling can't finish on the putback. Here's McDonald, finds Wright, and that's all she wrote for mine.
Even so, they're scoring with not much time going off the clock. So
Barker finds Robertson, can stroke it, and does.
Really good find from Barker.
They could trade 3 for 2 for this last minute and get himself in striking distance. Good job by Nunawading slowing it down, running some clock.
Just spreading the floor, the Spectres find Wright, and he drills it. 92-78. The Spectres in control. Foul called there. Bad foul from Costas Peronopoulos. No need to do that.
I don't know if he's upset with himself or the call, but I can tell you that that was 100% a foul.
Well, the Spectres are going to hold on here. Quick look around the league. Interesting result at MSAC tonight. Melbourne Tigers 72, Geelong Supercats 66.
That is a surprise.
So the Tigers get the win there. They've introduced Jack Purchase in the lineup. He didn't play. Pinot with another double-double, 17 and 10. Wells had 20. Pozoglu had 20. Had 11 and 7, and they got the win.
I was surprised to see Steph Reed after the injury last week. She's inside, ended up getting 30 tonight.
She had 30?
Yeah.
Good result. Frankston leading by 20 over Knox late in the third quarter. Kilsyth, they're in a ball game at the moment, early in the third against the Diamond Valley Eagles. And here, in your NBL1 game of the week, the Spectres running away with it. 12-point margin. Minute 40 to play. Peronopoulos finds Con. He up fakes Kenyon and kisses it off the glass. Con goes to 19. Oh, no lucky bounce there for the Rangers. Swatella clears it. Barker, geez, they've been throwing it away. Robertson can't make it count, but Barker can score. Kenyon dimes him up. We're back at 12. Minute and change remaining. Perry will love the activity. And another turnover. Kenyon takes it, finds Barker. Robertson gets another look at it, and that one was short. And Lepepe picks up the rebounding foul.
And Tom Wright.
They had one to give there, Dandenong. Timeout called. Dave Bewer just wants to get his squad together. But, yeah, that's a good win for Melbourne over Geelong.
Yes.
They're on a bit of a roll, Melbourne. That's a few wins in a row for them now. And they were able to keep the likes of DeMarcus Gatlin and Lewis Thomas. They had no one over 15 points, Geelong. It's a good win. Well,
What's your big takeaway from tonight's game, Liam?
Bet Cole. Bet Cole's, well, tonight's proceedings, Bet Cole.
Right.
Tonight's game is that don't write off the Spectres, would be my takeaway. I was high on them in the pre-season, coming into the regular season. I've been a little shaky on them in recent times, but the impact of the guys being away on the 3x3, the injuries, they've been a little undermanned. They were really undermanned, a bad loss to Knox a couple of weeks ago. But this has been an impressive display from them.
Look, in the stretch run home, they're going to be losing them again for the Worlds. So it'll be important for them to get these wins under their belt now while they got everybody around.
Rangers throwing bodies all over the place. Nunawading handles it. Chronopoulos attacks down the middle. Wright has it, lines it up. Splash. On the shot clock buzzer. Tom Wright. And he's got 26 now, and Swatella sends that one packing. Wow, Dane Swatella sends that one out of bounds. Fair bit of chit-chat, fair bit of yak between Lucas Barker and Shane McDonald.
Talk about changing of the guard.
Wow.
Usually it's the old guys that are bitter and talk, not the young guys.
Barker had a fair bit to say. We won't repeat it.
I think we should. Something about a lot of guys carrying your...
Yeah, your old backside. He really gave it to McDonald, the league leader in assists, 7-time All-Seabull. Big call. It's 15 points, the margin, as we wind our way down. Dandenong have been impressive with their effort throughout this game and in their intensity to try to force turnovers and get back into this one. But in the process, they've given up a whole bunch of easy buckets on the back end.
And that's the risk that you run when you scramble like that. And it only takes one breakdown or the ball to get to the middle of the floor for it to all fall apart. And they've just handled the situation a lot better tonight. The old heads just making great plays, the right play. And it'll be a good learning game for the young Dandenong team to walk away and say, this is what we did well, this is what we can improve on. But that will be that, and a 17-point win in the end for the Nunawading Spectres.
And to where those credit, you said they needed to play with pace, and getting into that press made them also play with pace, and that's why they got back into it.
Well, that'll do it. 99-82. The Nunawading Spectres claim the NBL1 Game of the Week on the road in Dandenong. And They advance to 6-3. The Rangers fall to 5-5. They're at 500. And as the Spectres get ready now to take on the talented youngsters of the COE tomorrow at the Graveyard. It was Tom Wright that was the game leading scorer at the end. 26 points on 10 of 17 shooting, 5 boards and 4 assists. Dane Swatala had 24, he had 20 at the half. And Simon Conn had 19. Lucas Walker, the other, and Costas Phronopoulos, the other guys in double figures for Nunawading. And Shane McDonald had 8 points, 8 rebounds, and 11 assists. For the Rangers, it was Lucas Barker led the way, 18 points. Sam Froling had a double-double, 17 and 10. Tyler Robertson, nice spark off the bench, 14 points, including 3 triples. And Dexter Koenig-Drew had 12. That wraps it up. Fellas, good job from you. Michael, enjoyed your expert analysis.
I don't know about all that. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's a joy.
Good stuff. And Wertho, final word from you on the Nunawading Spectres, the victors tonight?
Just a lot of class, and we pointed out that they are like the Spurs of the NBL1 with a lot of older heads and making right plays at the right time, but we probably didn't talk about him enough, but Tom Wright was exceptional tonight and led the way for the Spectres.
He was. Here's some of the highlights. Swatala was lights out from long range in the early going. We talked about him, 20 points. These are the highlights from the opening half when he had those 20, just stepping in to catch and shoot triples. And Kenyon was lively in the early going, but not really consistent enough. And in the end, it was a really good win. Wertho, am I hearing you might lace them up? Are you about to lace them up?
Next week, yes. I'm playing in the Masters. So.
I thought that might have been a bit of QBL action. Wasn't that the word recently?
I'd been asked to play QBL. I actually got asked to play NBL1, and I've been asked to play Big V.
Right.
And I've told him with a resounding answer of, you're kidding yourself.
I have a reputation to uphold.
I don't care how much money you would not offer me. My body is nowhere near. I actually haven't played many basketball games since I retired. No, I am quite happy with what I'm doing, and I'd much rather be sitting behind the table now talking about basketball because the future is bright, and especially in NBL1.
Well, there's some of the future right there. Sam Froling had a nice double-double tonight. But in the end, and Tyler Robertson as well, off to Eastern Washington, he was splashing triples. Wasn't enough for the Rangers, though. They go down by 17. It's 99-82. The Spectres get the win.